Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen Crusader Hercules C2 versus M2 Starlifter Tour and Ship Buyer's Guide, looking a bit more into these newly added massive ships. The ship is massive, the Hercules Starlifter, and both the C2 and M2 share the same cross-section and hull, 94 meters long, 70 meters wide, and 23 meters tall. It is a big boy. Both ships make use of large size 3 components and have one power plant, 2 coolers, 2 shield generators, and medium fuel intakes, a jump module, and 2 quantum fuel tanks. The M2 does have better versions of those items as stock though, has the sort of more military upgraded versions. The ship is a cross between a cargo and vehicle hauler, being able to do a mixture of the two. Both ships can carry up to 2 Nova tanks safely in their massive central hold. However, you can actually kind of fit 3 in there if you don't mind them being pretty squished together. The C2 has 696 SCU compared to the M2's 522 SCU of cargo space. And the former can carry the additional cargo along with 2 tanks, whereas the M2 basically is mostly full when it has 2 tanks in there. Internally, the ships are similar. There are 3 entry points. A lift allows you access on the central port side of the ship, which you can access externally. And there's 2 large entry and exit ramps at the front and rear of the ship. Now, to open those up externally, you have to access a little tiny panel at the bottom corner of those sort of ramps. So access that, you might have to zoom in, and bam, you can lower the ramp. And you can have both open simultaneously. This allows ground vehicles to very easily enter and exit the ship. In fact, you can use this as like a quick little base of operation. You can quickly get people into your ship or exiting just for like an assault. That lower section of the ship is just for ground vehicles or cargo storage. It's just this massive cargo area, this massive sort of warehouse. You have an elevator there that will allow you to get to the ground floor or the upper decks, and you also have a ladder that will just go to the upper deck. The upper deck has a lot more going on here, so most of the components are accessible from there. You can open them all up even now and have a look. The components are sort of there, they're not physicalized yet, and once we have physicalized components, bam, the ship's sort of ready for it. This area is sort of like a large loft area with storage and engines and a lot more going on there. There are also these little item and cargo pods, which allow you to, at least in the future, access your ship's inventory and move items between yourself, the ship, the hangar that you're at, or with the local inventory system. Let's briefly move to the front of the ship. So there's an access corridor that leads towards the bridge. In that access corridor, you've got a load of suit and armor storage, as well as a mini sort of like armory area with gun racks, all that sort of jazz. Bam, your crew at the front of the ship can be equipped very quickly if they have to defend the ship. This leads into the bridge or cockpit area, where the C2 has 2 seats, pilot and co-pilot. The M2 has an additional seat for a crewman to use a remote turret there. So let's quickly talk about the ship's weapons. Both ships have pilot-controlled size 5 mounts. It's got 2 of them, so bam, you've got 2 size 4 gimbaled Gatlings as standard. Brrr, lots of pew-pew from the pilot. The C2 has 2 remote turrets, one at the rear of the ship, just pointing basically out of the rear ramp almost, just above it, and one on the center belly of the ship underneath, with dual size 4 M6A cannons. So these can be controlled by the co-pilot, and they have to make a choice in which one they control really. The M2 has an additional remote turret on the nose of the ship, which can be controlled by the additional M2 seat. It's the same setup, it's dual size 4s with those M6A cannons. It's a little strange that not all guns on the ship can be effectively crewed at the same time. That co-pilot has to make a decision on what remote turret, at least at the moment with its current setup, that they control. But it's not a combat ship, so maybe that's the reason, or maybe it will change in the future. Back in the upper main section above the cargo deck, there is a couple more rooms that go from here. So we have a hab room with 2 bunks in the C2 anyway. So the M2 has an additional bunk for that extra crewman. So you've got 3 bunks in the M2, 2 bunks in the C2, and 2 toilets / shower rooms in those ships as well in that hab area. It's quite a nice living space. There's closets and compartments and things to put your gear, little other areas to work and sit. Beyond that, the major difference in the C2 and the M2 is that on the other side of the ship, in the forms of a kitchen versus an auxiliary crew troop section. So the C2 has a kitchen. It's sort of like a little living area for eating and assumedly for food storage in the future. Whereas the M2 has this area converted into an area for 12 jump seats and marines to sit in, as well as an armory off to the side. That's an important difference based on how you want to use the ship. The M2, much more military, active, assault, very, very effective as a dropship. C2, more as a cargo ship potentially, but obviously you can still use it to carry those vehicles. It's interesting that the crew supported by the C2 is kind of 2, and the M2 is 3. However, you can have that additional 12 crewmen in the M2, making that 15 crew, and more waiting in vehicles in both, I suppose. We don't know to what extent life support systems are going to support a maxed out M2. I assume there won't be a problem though, otherwise you'll have a load of people suffocating, which would be ridiculous. I love the idea of using the M2 as a full-on dropship for vehicles, marines, and then use the ship to support them on the ground. The ship, the C2 and the M2, isn't very agile, with the C2 being slightly faster SCM speed than that M2, but it can get up to quite a speed above SCM max speed. It can get out of atmosphere pretty quickly. Bam, it can get to the ground pretty quickly. The last time the C2 was on sale, it was $360, and the M2 was $480. So they're quite expensive ships. These should both be available to purchase with real money during Fleet Week when Alpha 3.13.1 goes live as well. Fleet Week starts the 21st of May. However, they may potentially have gone up 10 to 15% in price with real money, so bear that in mind. We're also expecting the loaner matrix to change, so probably for things like the Banny Merchant, they'll probably loan you a C2 now. That's not confirmed. I think it's just very possible though. You will be able to try these ships for free during Fleet Week along with the Nova tank, and you can probably expect them to be in game stores from Alpha 3.14 onwards. Around then, it might be 3.15, but probably 3.14. You'll be able to buy them in-game. The Hercules C2 and M2 are fantastic additions to the game for cargo gameplay, for the transport of vehicles. However, we're still waiting for a vehicle in ship spawning to make ground vehicles much easier to use with ships like this. At the moment, you might as well just spawn the Nova tank at an outpost rather than try and ferry it somewhere. And we don't really have much in the way of tangible ground gameplay for combat vehicles yet, as, yeah, they don't have much use yet. But we're looking forward to lots of additions in the future that will make use of them. The Hercules is still an awesome cargo ship currently though, and yeah, if you can make use of it as a ground vehicle transport for, I know, something you've got to set up with an org, an event or something, there's going to be Hurston Hurt Locker, there's going to be probably the Daymar Rally will probably have a tank racing sort of division in the future, who knows, but yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with them at the moment. But what do you think? Do you own a Hercules C2 or M2? Are you looking forward to them being available in the live build? Would you prefer there to be more tangible ground gameplay before they put these ships in? Do you have an A2, the sort of bomber variant, and you're looking forward to that potentially coming in Alpha 3.15? Are you looking forward to Fleet Week? Are you considering picking one of these relatively expensive but pretty cool ships up? And if so, why? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Oh, what's this? I just found all your search history online. You filthy boy, buying spaceships and going on Ship Hub. Zin, show a picture of like a sexy ship or something. You should have used NordVPN. It's a VPN, obviously, and it has my seal of approval because I chill for them. Use the links below to get a discount and help protect your data, identity, privacy, and to help with online accessibility. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For May, it's for a Crusader Hercules Starlifter. It's a big boy cargo and ground vehicle transport ship that you can expect to be added to the game by the end of the month. Just comment on any of my videos made during the month to be in for a chance of winning that. Thank you so much to my channel members who have pressed the join button below my videos and my Patreons as well. Going the extra mile really, really helps the channel. Say thanks for helping the channel, Zin.
Thanks for helping the channel, Zin.
Consider becoming a channel member or Patreon as well, and maybe you'll get some poorly photoshopped naughty spaceship shots. Ooh, saucy. Thanks for watching and all your support.